everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Kai, and today I have for you this Skull Panda inspired set. It's actually inspired by the recent Feast collection. I'd been wanting to do a Skull Panda set for a long time. Finally talked myself into it, so I hope you enjoy. I will take you step by step through the whole process and just catch you up on how 2026 is going. So if that sounds good to you, please continue watching, please consider subscribing, but let's go ahead and start with my design inspiration. Okay, so this is my design board. I did actually design two hands for this set, but I didn't have time to make the other one. So the design I focused on was the right hand. For this figurine here, this is the first one I opened. It's the Napkin Skull Panda from the Feast collection. And I just think she's so cute with all of these like embossed designs, obviously the gold accents. I do love a good gold accent. And the color palette I felt was just so incredibly perfect for the DVOK Clean Girl collection that was just sent to me for PR. I ended up using almost all of the colors from this collection in the set just because, again, it just matches so well. I also drew some inspiration from Destiny Nail, who does these really pretty, like, clear, chromy lace designs. And I just kind of borrowed the vibes of this set here. I also really like this embossed lace look by Viv, who does amazing portraiture art. And then I found these embossed napkins that I thought maybe I wanted to replicate for one of the fingers. And here's what I came up with. So I knew that I wanted to sculpt a skull panda. I've been wanting to do this for a while and I just haven't had the courage to, or the right set, but finally I took the plunge. So that will be the thumbnail, sculpted skull panda head. I wanted to do some lace in the background and then just some little pearl accents. Then the pointer finger, I wanted to do kind of like a really textured woven cloth look to represent the napkin. So I thought I could do a mix of like the pinks, the peaches, the whites, kind of ombre those together in a nice textured look. And then maybe do like a gold frame with an embossed SP for Skull Panda. And then of course I couldn't forget the big gold bow. So I do want to do a bow in the center of the middle finger and then maybe just some like pearl chains. I did find this promo image online and I really liked how it had all of these like chain pearl details in it. So I wanted to bring that into the set. And then I also wanted to represent the scalloped edge of her hood. So I put that in the pointer finger here. I wanted to do like the gold edge and then leading into a textured French tip, maybe some like white filigree to represent the different filigree designs on her. And then the pinky keeps simple with just maybe some lace stamping or lace foil and just some little pearl accents. Now I did design a whole nother set of nails based on the caddy spoon, which was actually my favorite from the collection. I ordered her specifically, shout out to our toy Familia. That is where I get my skull pandas that I want like the specific design for. I feel like the markups aren't too crazy there. Again, I didn't have time for it, so if you would like to see this design, maybe I can do it in the future, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, that's my inspo board. If you would like to use my templates, by the way, I do have them available to download. It's just a Google Drive link in the description. Totally free. I just ask that you tag me in your creations because I would love to see them. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what materials I'll be using for this set. Okay, so in terms of products I used for this design, of course the 3D is the star of the show. These are Chrysonia's classic clays. I used that for the Skull Panda head, along with her Korean milky white clay. For the textured looks, I ended up using a lot of the Made Collection version 3 from the Favori. These are like really nice whipped non-wipe texture gels, along with one of my favorites. This is the DVOK White Texture Gel. As you can tell, it's very well loved. This is W13 from Blonde Blonde. It's the Silky Champagne Gold Chrome powder. It's a nice like silvery gold. For applying the chrome, I used my Pala First Street gel in white. This is really good for like textured chrome for a 3D chrome look. I also ended up using the Jello Gel Edge Gel, again for a textured chrome effect. This is super stiff and holds its shape super well. For top coats, I did end up using my Zombie top in the Low formula, and then also my Mayo glass top, which I keep for chrome. To apply foils, I used the Jinbei Gum Gel, which is definitely my new favorite foil gel. For most of the painted details, I used my long liner brush from Daiami, and then I would recommend having one of these really stiff textured brushes for the textured looks. Sculpting tools, definitely some silicone tools, and then I use this metal spatula. And then of course I've got some pearl accents and the Ivy Fix gel to glue them onto the nail. And then the base colors are all DVOK syrups, starting with Milkus, which is one of my favorite milky white gels, and then these gorgeous ones from the Clean Girl collection. This set is so stunning if you're looking for nudes that match a bunch of different skin tones. I ended up using almost all of the colors in the set just because it matched the design so well. They're just so silky and smooth, and the chrome that it comes with is also super gorgeous. For chrome isolation, I've been loving the Croissant matte top lately. And then for the ombres, I will be using my 2 pat gel palettes, the classic one from Croissant, and then she also came out with an ice version that's full of shimmers. So I'll be using that one as well. Such pretty colors. And that's actually it for our supplies, so let's jump right into the nail design. First things first, I'm starting off with my prepped tips. These are actually the soft gel long almond. Actually, I believe it might be the extra long. And then of course, we're going in with our Clean Girl gels as the base, starting with DS21. And I'm just gonna paint on 2 layers for each nail. As I'm doing this, quick reminder, please make sure that you are doing your research on the products you're using and wearing gloves as much as possible when handling uncured gel. Just make sure that we're all being safe so we can continue to do nails for as long as possible. You can just see how smooth and silky this formula is. It is quite sheer, so I do recommend that you layer these colors, but they just go on so smoothly that there's no sort of unevenness when you lay them down. They self-level so beautifully. I love the DVOK syrup formula. I genuinely do, and I've been using DVOK for a couple years now. Definitely one of my favorite brands, and they're HEMA-free, so plus for anyone who might be allergic. So yeah, I'm just laying down, again, 2 coats for each nail in a variety of the different colors from the collection. As I'm doing that, just a little catch up. How's everybody doing with 2026 so far? I don't know if you can tell, I got really sick at the beginning, like literally Friday after the 1st. I came down with a flu. I lost my voice for about a week, and it's still not quite 100% back to normal, so I've been having a good year so far, trying to catch up on some work stuff. I had a wedding to go to out of town, so it's been crazy. That's why there was no video last week, but I am very excited to get back into content. And I'd love to hear what you guys have planned for 2026 down in the comments. My goal is definitely to just give myself a little bit more grace this year. So I'm proud to say that I wasn't super stressed about not posting a video last week. Whereas before, I might have spiraled a little bit with missing one of my deadlines, but it is what it is. I'm coming to terms with it. And now we have all of our base coats done. But as I was looking at the ring finger, I noticed that one was a little bit more sheer than the others, so I did go in with a 3rd coat, cured that, and then I wiped down all of the nails. You don't have to do this step necessarily, but since I'm adding foils and 3D, I like cleansing my nail before moving on. But if you were just going to go in with another layer of paint, I wouldn't bother with cleansing yet. But I am going to be going in and doing some foil designs on the pinky and the thumb finger. So I'm using my Jinbei gum gel. This is new to me. This is like my first time using it outside of just testing it once I purchased it. And I'm super pleased with it. It does have a little bit of a smell, so if you're sensitive to smells, just note that, but I don't have it open very long. But it's a really nice thin formula and foils stick so well to it. I am not the best with foils, I will be the first to admit. I should have cut off this piece here so it wasn't moving around as much. The key is to get it laying really flat on the nail, as flat as you can, so you get full coverage. It was okay for me here to not have it be perfect because it is just like a partial design. So I go in, same process on the thumbnail, just painting over some of the sections and little organic patches. I learned from the last time, and I did cut off a piece here so that I could hopefully get it to lay just a little bit flatter without moving that foil too much. You want to really rub it in well, and then it just peels right away and leaves behind that nice foil pattern. I cleaned up the edges with a little bit of alcohol on a wipe, and the foil design is done. So I did go ahead and top coat just to ensure that that is nice and sealed in and I don't mess it up with any future mistakes or other layers. So I'm sealing in the pinky finger, gave that top coat a full cure, and then I knew I wanted to do some chrome designs, so I'm just buffing the surface here just with a like 240 grit buffer block. Buffing is one of my preferred methods for isolated chrome, but I'll show you a new product a little bit later that I have grown to love. And for my 3D chrome, I'm going to use the First Street White Palette Gel. Details with my long liner. This is one of my favorite liner brushes. It's just so thin. And I'm just going to do a couple of dots. You can see here that this palette gel is super viscous, so it holds its shape pretty well. I love it for 3D designs. It doesn't stick though if you wipe it down, so you can really only apply it once and then chrome it once. But I'm pulling out the chrome here. As you can see the figurine, the chrome they use is very much like a cool toned gold, almost like a cool toned rose gold. So this one was the closest I could find, and I am pretty happy with it. So I just wiped away the excess with a dense sponge, and we're on to the ring finger. So I recently got this matte top coat from Croissant Nuneri. It was formulated in Japan, and I swear by this for chrome isolation. I've tried it a couple times now, and it does not let me down. No fallout whatsoever. And I like that it's a thin formula, so it doesn't add too much bulk to the nail. It should be available on Sweetie Nail Supply soon if it's not already by the time I post this. But of course, it's on her website as well. You can use my code GetPressed to save yourself 10% and support me too. I do really appreciate everyone who uses my codes. It really does help keep the channel up and running. So I've just painted on with that same white palette gel the scalloped edge to represent the hooded portion of the figurine. And look at how easily this chrome isolates with that matte top coat. No fallout. It's really nice. And then I'm going to take my cheetah nail round brush. This is from, I believe, the Milk Tea collection. It's the mini oval. And I wanted to replicate that like quilted look of the hood as well. So I'm taking my DVOK White Texture Cream Gel, putting it on a little palette, and then I'm going to paint over the tip of the nail, kind of doing like a French tip. I was trying really hard to not get anything on the chrome outline here. And in hindsight, I should have just not been too careful because I end up redoing it anyway. But my thought was use this texture gel to create that quilted look and then kind of carve out the little diamond shapes, fill in the padded areas so it has that raised look. Honestly, there's probably better ways to go about this. Here I was just trying to map out those lines, the division lines, and then I filled in the center areas with more of that canvas gel. I think in hindsight, maybe going in with like a 3D clay of some sort and creating the indents by actually like indenting in the clay might have been easier. I'll have to play around with it, but essentially I just fill in those squares. I use a clean brush to kind of carve out those grooves. So I cured the whole thing and then moved on to the filigree design. I used the white palette gel. You can use this as like a last step non-wipe gel as well. I started with an initial design, hated it, wiped it off. I feel like I can never do isolated chrome correctly the first time. I swear I'm always wiping away at least one design. But that's part of why I actually do really like this matte top. You can wipe it down with alcohol and chrome won't stick. I will say with this palette gel, if you do mess up your chrome and you try to wipe the surface with alcohol, the chrome does not stick after. I've used some other chrome gels that even if you wipe it with alcohol, the chrome still sticks okay. So just note, if you're going to use the palette gel, you really only want to have to apply your chrome once. But this time I'm happy to say I was liking my filigree much better. Again, love that Diami long liner. It's just so thin, you can get really nice details with it. And here's where I redid that chrome scallop anyway. I do think this is necessary as I just brought it to the surface again. And is there anything more satisfying than chroming some isolated chrome? It really is one of my favorite things to do in a nail design, and I feel like I do it too often. Hopefully we aren't getting tired of it because it is just one of my favorite techniques. Some of the chrome did stick to the texture gel, so I just went in with a little alcohol on a wipe, and this is what we're left with. Sealed that in with a top coat. I do have a specific top coat bottle for my chrome, for my isolated chrome. That way I'm not contaminating any other sets with any extra flyaway chrome. And then I realized I kind of lost the fabric texture on that tip, so I went in with a texture brush and just kind of filled in those squares, adding some roughness, and I liked it a lot better after that. And then moving on to the middle finger, I wanted to represent her very like blushed cheeks and hands. So I go in with my mushroom sponges from Dayami, my Pat Art Gel palette from Neri. As you can see, this is very well loved. So I mix a custom color. I was really trying to color match those hands. So I did a little bit of pink, a little bit of orange, and some white to get a really nice like pinky peach color. And then it's as simple as just patting that on the surface of the nail. All I did was cleanse this nail, wipe it down with a little bit of alcohol to get rid of the tacky layer, and look at how smooth that aura is. So nice. And to add a little bit of something extra, I did want to go in with the shimmer palette and add some sparkle. So I'm taking this like mauve pink color here. I used a new sponge and I'm just tapping that right over that cured ombre from earlier. And it just gives it a super nice glowy finish. If you want a little bit of a stronger effect, I do recommend doing this in layers. So this here is my second layer, and that just really brings out the shine. And honestly, this was perfect for the look that I was going for. So I gave that a full cure and top coated it to seal in that ombre. And once I cured that fully, it's time for the bow. Now, I could have done a molded bow, but I wanted to do something custom. I wanted to make things harder for myself like usual. So I took the Korean clay. This clay is different from her classic collection in that it is more of like a stretchy clay. So I'm flattening out kind of like a long almond shape, and then I'm going to take one end, fold it over like a sandwich, and connect the pointed tips, and that makes one of your bow loop. If you are beginning with 3D sculpting, I would recommend her Korean versions, the jelly clays first. They are just a little bit more sticky, as in it sticks to itself, it sticks to the nail, but not gloves, not tools. So I just press that into the nail surface, and then I'm going to use a silicone tool here just to give it more of like an organic shape, make it look like it's a real bow. I'm doing some grooves in the center to make it look like it's folded. And then once I'm happy with the shape, I'll stick it into the lamp and fully cure this loop. And you can see that it cures rock solid. So it's not going to move anywhere. It's going to be nice and sturdy. And then you just repeat the process for the other side of the bow. Again, long almond shape, press the pointed tips together, transfer that to the nail, and then add those folds in the center, adjust the loop to look how you want it. Honestly, this bow is super simple. I was pretty surprised because I haven't sculpted a bow in this technique before, and I like how customizable it is. I'm just doing the ribbon edges here, creating that nice like V-cut. Now, if you don't have time to hand sculpt everything, I fully understand. I'm in a privileged position where I do these designs for content rather than for clients. So I do really like using the croissant clays actually in 3D nail molds as well. As long as it's a fairly shallow mold with not too much intricate details that need to be filled, I think these work great, and they demold super easily as well. But I was very satisfied with how the bow came out. I think that you can get a decent amount of movement with the Korean clays. They do have some stiffness to them, though they will move and self-level a little bit. So as you can see here, it holds its shape, but you do have to work kind of quickly. But I was super happy with the movement that I was able to get in these ribbon ends. So I just did a little bit of extra shaping before fully curing it. And I thought I was done, but I almost forgot to do the center part of the ribbon. So it's as simple as just adding a little bit of clay over the center and just shaping it into place to cover where everything connects. And then I decided, why not get crazy? Let's do some textured chrome on top of the ribbon. So I'm taking my Jello Edge Gel, by far the stiffest textured chrome gel that I have, and I'm just painting that over the ribbon, trying to really avoid the base nail. That way the chrome doesn't really stick. Cured that for 30 seconds, and then I went in and applied my chrome, and you can see that you get that nice fabric effect from the texture of the edge gel. And I never have problems with any chrome sticking to the edge gel. It is definitely one of my go-tos. I absolutely love it. Because it's so stiff, you can get really nice thin lines from it too if you're doing like a super detailed isolated chrome design. And yeah, this is how the bow turned out. I thought it was super cute. And now we are on to the pointer finger. This is that Made Collection version 3 from the Favori. I really like these as well for doing textured looks. Count how many times I say texture in this video. It's probably going to be a lot, but that's because I love it so much as a finish to a nail set. So I pulled out 3 of the colors, including my canvas white gel, and I just added all of them to a palette. I'm going to be kind of mixing them together, blending them on the nail, so it's okay if you use the same brush without cleaning. This is like a straw brush. It's super stiff so that you get really nice grooves in any sort of textured gel. So I start with applying the white in alternating directions, just doing patches that are perpendicular to each other to create that kind of like woven fabric look. And I cover the whole nail in the white texture gel to start, just as a nice base before I'm gonna go in with the colors. I cured that, and then I went in with each color and just started laying down little patches around the nail. This was a super fun process because there's no real like rhyme or reason. I was just kind of spreading the colors out, blending them together. You don't even have to clean your brush in between because you're gonna mix those colors on the nail anyway. I really just wanted like little subtle patches and bits of color on the surface, along with preserving that nice textured look. So I'm alternating the direction that I'm painting on those gels. And yeah, I just love these so much. They're great for flowers, for doing any sort of oil paint looks, super versatile, and they're non-wipe, so they can be the last step on a nail. Here, I wanted to do a wax seal. So I'm taking some of that Korean clay, the milky white, and I'm placing a ball on the nail, flattening it a little bit. And then I actually just used one of my round magnets because it was about the right size to do that indent in the middle. I just dipped it in a little bit of alcohol to make sure it wouldn't stick at all. And then before curing this, I'm just kind of shaping the edges just to give it a little bit more of an uneven shape. Something that's gonna really look like that melted wax. I took the magnet, refined the center once more to get that perfect round middle. And then I'm going in with my palette gel and painting on my SP. My lettering definitely used a little bit of work. I want to try those script nails that are super popular. So at some point soon, I'll attempt some nicer, more refined lettering, but for now, this will do. And these Korean clays actually can be chromed on top of. So I'm just taking my chrome from earlier and just going straight over that palette gel, straight over the Korean clay after having cured everything. And it stuck really well. To get those edges that are hard to reach, I am going in with a silicone tool, just with a little bit of chrome powder on it, and that'll help you get into those grooves. And I was pretty pleased with this result. I just cleaned it up a little bit with a sponge, and we're ready to move on to the thumb. Now we've already applied that foil previously, so I'm just sealing it in with a top coat. Again, buffing the surface because I know I want to do some isolated chrome on here. I had a little visitor. He's very mischievous. That's my new kitten. But I decided I wanted to actually try to isolate chrome with a stamping plate. So I'm taking my Jello Edge Gel and just painting it over the lace stamp. Then I'm going to scrape it away and try to be as clean as possible with this scrape. Honestly, I could have probably done a better job because I had a little bit of extra gel. But I clean off my stamper with just a lint roller. I find that gets rid of any dust. Now this stamper I did file and buff the surface of. I just find it picks up gel a little bit easier that way. And I just lightly press down onto the stamping plate, and you can see that it actually picked up the edge gel pretty well. So I do want to play around with this technique a little bit more, but I cleaned up the edges with just an alcohol wipe, and then I slowly stamped that on the surface of the nail, and I was pretty surprised at how it transferred. It's not perfect. You can see once I apply the chrome here, this is that chrome from the Clean Girl collection, but it definitely gets the job done. And it's a great way to do like really intricate chrome patterns. This chrome, by the way, is a really nice pearl chrome. It's see-through, so you do get that base color shining through, and it just gives a really gorgeous pearlized finish. cleaned up the excess with a dense sponge, and I really like this effect. I don't know, I was super pleased with how it turned out. Excited to try it more in the future. And to clean up the stamper, I just cure it in my lamp and then use that same lint roller and it comes right off. Now we move on to the difficult part. I top coated it to secure that chrome, and then I pulled out my classic clay collection. Now these are the clays that I would really recommend if you're going to be doing really intricate sculpting. They hold their shape super well. So to make the Skull Panda face, I'm pulling out my nude pink and white. I'm just gonna mix these together to get the proper skin tone for that Skull Panda. So you can see here that these clays have a true clay texture. They're closer to like artist clays, traditional clay, so you can really get some defined shapes with them. I personally do like to mix them up before I use them. I think it just softens the clay a little bit and makes it more workable. But once I have the right color, I just take an oval and press it into the surface of the nail. This is going to be your head. In hindsight, I probably could have made this a little bit smaller. It ended up being quite big, but I was super happy with the color match. I thought it was perfect for her skin tone. And I subtly shaped the head. It's not quite an oval. The bottom, the jaw area, is almost like, I don't know, a hexagon. She has quite the chubby cheeks, so her cheeks stick out on the sides. But I cure the initial shape and then I add a little bit of extra gel on the forehead area just to make it kind of like protrude. And then I add some gel on either side as well to create the eye sockets. This is like the brow bone area. I watch a lot of traditional artists on YouTube, and so I'm really trying to borrow some of the skills I've learned from them when approaching this. She looks crazy right now, I know, and this is definitely a trust the process moment. At this point in time, I was like 8 hours into the set, and I really was not trusting the process, I'll be honest. But I added some extra bulk around her cheeks as well to build those out. I was working on one part of the face at a time, curing in between once I was happy with how it looked, just blending everything with a brush wet with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. And we're getting closer to what looks like might be a human at this point. So I'm just finishing up the other cheek, just again pressing that into place with the silicone tool before going in with my brush and refining the shape. I use this as a moment to kind of build out the chin a little bit as well. And then also to refine the eye holes, the eye sockets. I hate describing this part. It sounds so bad out of context, but then we're gonna take just a little piece of clay and fill in those eye sockets to create the eyelids. The nice thing is that her eyes are closed on this specific figurine, so that makes things a little bit easier. But I'm just gonna take a brush and blend out those edges just to soften them, and honestly, I'm not too mad at the results. I think I could have spread her eyes out just a little bit more to be more fitting to the original figurine, but no time for that. I've got to go in and fill in the nose bridge area, add a little bit more volume around the mouth since that is protruding where the nose is and the mouth. And she still looks crazy, but that's okay. We're just going to keep adding clay until she looks right. And honestly, I think this part of the process took the bulk of the time, maybe like 4 hours just to do this one head. But I am happy with how she ended up. Now it's time for the hair. So I just took the white clay and I'm just gonna do the general hair shape. So it starts by giving her a nice little middle part. It's quite the look with her being eyeless, featureless. Gosh, she looks scary right now, but I define that middle part and then give everything a full cure. And then I'm gonna add 2 more pieces of clay along either side of the hair just to create those pieces on the side that are covering her ears. And I thought about sculpting the grooves of her hair into the actual clay, but then I figured that might be a little bit too difficult. So instead, after I had the initial hair shape down, I cured it and then went in with that palo gel. And because it is such a thick 3D gel, it allowed me to paint on the grooves instead. And I do think this process was a little bit easier. So I'm just painting on the hair strands, curing in between. That way I can keep the definition of the shape. before giving it an overall paint just to make sure those grooves are nice and defined, but also smooth. So it looks like it's all kind of like one piece as her hair does on the figurine. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I fully cured that. And then to do the fade on her hair, I'm using that ombre palette from earlier. I actually just took the peachy color, added some white, and it was kind of like the perfect peachy pink for her hair. And then it was as easy as just tapping it on the surface. I did get some on the nail underneath, but I just wiped it away with alcohol before curing. And then I went in with that Cresania matte top coat for her face. This does two things. It sort of helped smooth out any grooves left over from the sculpting, but also I knew I was going to do some isolated chrome. So I cured that, and then I went in with DS25 from the Clean Girl collection and just added her eyeshadow. Now, since we sculpted the eye sockets into the actual figurine, the gel actually kind of cooled into her eyes in the perfect way to create the depth of her eyeshadow. And then I went in with that shimmer palette and the purple, and I just added a little bit of glow onto the lid of the eye to create that highlight before going in with DS26 from the Clean Girl collection to do her cheeks and the lips and her nose. Honestly, I kind of was out of focus for filming a lot of this part. Because I took some breaks, it's actually been a while since I filmed a tutorial, so a lot of my footage looks like this. I'm getting back in the groove of things. But here's what her face looks like with all of the details done. So I mattified it once more. So here she is in comparison, looking a lot less scary now. But I go in with that palette gel and I lay down all of the chrome isolation details. Again, unfortunately, I was out of frame for a lot of that, so I don't have the footage per se. But here's the chrome being applied, and at this point, I'm feeling much better about how she looks. I think adding the eye lines just kind of makes her look more human, brings everything together. And so I'm ready to start on the hood. Now for the hood, I just rolled out like a long almond shape, flattened it, and then kind of like placed it around her head. She's looking a little pilgrim-esque at this point, but I haven't done the full shaping yet. And once again, I cannot stay in the darn frame. So unfortunately, a lot of that footage was lost, but basically I just added a little bit more clay around the edges and then started shaping it into that scalloped edge design with my silicone tools. Gave it a full cure, and it's time for the little orbs on the side of her head. This time I'm using the Korean clay because I did want to chrome over it. I think I used a little bit too much alcohol though when I was handling it because the chrome wasn't sticking. So I ended up going over it with my Nail Thoughts Chrome It Clear just to make sure I got a really nice smooth chrome finish, using a liner brush to really isolate that to just her little orbies on the side. Same chrome that I've been using for the whole design, and it went on beautifully. I decided I did want to add that chrome to the edge of her hood, so I'm just using that matte top coat just to isolate the chrome to the edge, painting on the palette gel, and I do think this just added some much needed definition to the edge. And yeah, I was super pleased with how she was looking at this point. Then I made a mistake. I thought I wanted her to look glossy, so I went in with a top coat, sealed in everything, including my isolated chrome. I should have just painted over the isolated areas because I ended up mattifying her again later. And then I decided I wanted that same like woven texture pattern on her hood since she does have a quilted look to it on the actual figurine. So I'm using that texture gel from earlier and just again painting in perpendicular directions. And since I had that texture gel out, I felt like the pointer finger was missing something. So I just took it and I started going over some of the lace pattern, also just adding in some filigree, ad-libs. And honestly, I really like how this turned out with like the layered look of the lace stamp being under this textured lace. I just added that extra little something that I felt like I needed. And finally, we are at charm application. So I'm just going to take my Ivy Fix gel and just glue on a few pearls here and there. And luckily, we're almost done with the set. I know this was a longer video because the design itself was a little bit more on the intricate side, but I personally love making long form videos. I love making these design tutorials. That's probably one of my favorite things to do on the channel. I am looking to branch out more into like comparison videos, videos on specific techniques. I've got my Nails Demystified series that I want to get started this year. Just tons of plans for 2026 that I'm really excited to jump into once I get caught up on some content things I have to do. Now that I do this channel as part of my part-time income, unfortunately there is some pressure to try to kind of fit the algorithm. So this year is about experimenting, but I will definitely still do my long-winded yappy tutorials, and I really appreciate everybody who likes watching them. That's what I like to watch when I do my own nails. It almost feels like sitting and doing nails with a friend. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody for being here. As a last step, I'm going to go ahead and top coat all of my charms and all of my chrome details just to make sure that those are nice and preserved. I prefer top coating my pearls. I find that they keep their pearlized look for much longer. It kind of seems to rub off if I don't top coat them. So I'm just sealing everything in before my final step, which was to go in and re-mattify the face. Should have just left it matte in the first place, but that's okay. I think she turned out cute in the end. I did lose a little bit of the 3D detail from so many layers, but overall I am very happy with how this set turned out. Super proud of this being my first set of 2026. It makes me very inspired for the rest of the year, even if it was a little bit later than intended. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for being here. Let me know down in the comments what you've got planned for 2026. Everything I used will be linked below, and again, you can use my discount code GETPRESSED to save 10% and also support the channel. And if you'd like to check out those nail templates, that's linked below. I also have a Discord community that you are welcome to join if you just want to chat with some other nail art lovers. And if you want to submit a design for my Nails Demystified series, where I'll be breaking down different nail designs and showing you how to do them based on your requests, that link is below as well. But I think that's enough shameless plugs from me. Last one is to consider subscribing if you like this tutorial, if you want to see more. I also do hauls, organizing videos, vlogs, and all of that good stuff. But I think I've done enough talking for this video as usual, so I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you all for the next one. Bye!